Well, welcome to week 3, and I think we had a good week last week. This week, of course, you'll be doing some business writing, and there's a lot of different kind of business writing you may have to do, but in this case, I want you to write a brief proposal or summary or something. I think a proposal or perhaps asking, you could be asking for funding to implement a new program, but you're going to be asking for something. And you're going to be asking your boss. Now, you could obviously be writing business communication for your colleagues and for even subordinates, but in this case, think of it as something for your boss. Get right to the point and provide the evidence that he or she will need to make a decision. Most of you got through week 2, managing your APA style quite a bit better. So now you can forget it because we're not really bound by APA style going forward. You wouldn't use it in a business proposal, for example. And you'll need to just provide support with index citation according to an article, whatever. Just write it into your text. One thing I did notice about last week, and it would still apply this week, actually it applies all the time. We'll just know that I'm kind of picky about this, but be careful of sentences that start with there is or there are, because somewhere later in that sentence is probably something stronger. It should be appear as the subject. Now, a case can occasionally be made for passive voice. You'll run across this in your reading. Sometimes you don't want to emphasize the agent or the actor, but in a sentence that starts with there is or there are, often whatever it is that is an are should have a more primary force in the sentence. It should feel like the subject or the object. And I'm not saying don't ever use there is or there are, but some of you are, I saw one case with 3 or 4 there is or there are sentences in a row. And not only do you not just want that same pattern repeated, but I just think that locked up back there somewhere is something that's more important than that abstraction. And so I would encourage you to find it and emphasize it in the way you construct your sentence. And finally, we're pretty close to getting the PebblePad submission thing worked out. There were some problems with the way that was defined and described, and we've even had Danny do some testing for us, and later in the week that should be fine. In week 3, the writing piece will be submitted through PebblePad. And if you have any questions or problems, of course, you can just let me know. I do appreciate how engaged you've been with each other. I thought that the peer reviews last week were really strong and helpful. People were really engaged in the other people's work, so continue to do that. That'll be great. And I think that's it for the wrap up for week 2, and we're on to week 3. Go get 'em.